All right, let's dive right in. Welcome to the Methodcast, where we talk about the strategies, mindsets, and methods that help people break free from the things holding them back. Today, we're talking about something we've all struggled with: indecision. You know the feeling, getting stuck in that endless loop of should I or shouldn't I, second guessing every move, over analyzing, hesitating, and then doing nothing. Sound familiar? Well, what if I told you that indecision isn't actually a problem, that it's not real, not in the way we think it is? What if it's just a mental trap, a kind of illusion, one that we can easily escape from? That's exactly what we're breaking down today. And to do it, we're borrowing some wisdom from a little book called Easy Peasy. If you've never heard of it, it's a method that has helped thousands of people quit addictions, not by using willpower, but by showing them how addiction itself is an illusion. And when you apply that same logic to indecision, it suddenly becomes way easier to break free from the paralysis of overthinking. So, let's set the scene. Imagine you're standing at a crossroads. It could be something small, like picking what to eat for dinner, or something big, quitting your job, ending a relationship, taking a leap of faith on something new. Your mind starts running in circles. What if I make the wrong choice? What if I regret it? What if there's a better option? What if I fail? That's how indecision sneaks in. It feels like you're thinking things through logically, but in reality, you're just stuck. Now, here's where Easy Peasy flips the script. It says that addiction isn't actually about quitting. It's about the fear of quitting, the fear that life without the addiction will be miserable. And indecision, same thing. The problem isn't the choice itself, it's the fear of making the wrong choice. Let that sink in for a second, because if that's true, then the real issue isn't what to choose. It's the fear behind the choice. Fear of regret, fear of missing out, fear of failure, fear of judgment, and the more we hesitate, the stronger that fear grows, just like an addiction. The more an addict says, "I'll quit tomorrow," the harder quitting becomes. The more you say, "I'll decide later," the harder deciding becomes. And before you know it, you're trapped in your own hesitation. So let's talk about why we get stuck. Easy Peasy says that addiction happens because we're brainwashed into believing we need something we actually don't. Same thing with indecision. We've been trained to believe that certain choices will define our entire future, that making a mistake is catastrophic, that there's always a right and wrong choice. Think about when you were a kid. You didn't sit there agonizing over which toy to play with. You just picked one. But somewhere along the way, we got programmed to believe that every decision is high stakes, that we must avoid mistakes, that choosing wrong will ruin everything. And that fear, it's paralyzing. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if there is no wrong decision, only different paths? What if action itself is more important than making the right choice? That's the key to breaking free. So, how does Easy Peasy actually help? Two ways. First, it reframes decision-making. Instead of seeing choices as these huge, life-defining moments, it teaches us to see them as just steps. That's all they are, neutral steps forward. No choice is a permanent label. No decision is forever. And here's the kicker. Every time you make any choice, you gain clarity. Even if it's not perfect, it moves you forward. Second, it removes the illusion of loss. A huge reason we hesitate is that we feel like choosing one thing means we're losing all the other options. But guess what? That's just an illusion. Let's say you're stuck between two job offers. You keep analyzing, trying to predict which one will be perfect. But the truth? You won't really know until you start working there. And even if it turns out not to be great, guess what? You can adjust, you can pivot, you can change course. You are never locked in. But if you never make a choice at all, you go nowhere. By removing the illusion of loss, you free yourself to just decide. Now, let's talk about momentum. If you've ever been stuck in indecision, you know that the longer you wait, the harder it gets. Your brain starts overloading with information. Fear builds up, and making a decision feels even harder. But once you make a single choice, everything shifts. Suddenly, you're moving forward, and movement creates clarity. That's why Easy Peasy tells people not to wait until they feel ready to quit an addiction. It says, just decide, just start. The feeling of being free will follow. Same thing with decision making. Don't wait to feel confident, just decide and confidence will come after. So, how do you actually apply this in real life? Here are some strategies. 1. Set a time limit for decisions. If you give yourself too much time, you'll overthink. Set a time limit, 30 seconds for small decisions, 24 hours for bigger ones. Decide, then move on. 2. Use the reverse fear technique. Instead of fearing making the wrong choice, fear staying stuck. Imagine all the time, energy, and happiness you'll lose by not deciding. 3. Ask, what's the worst that could happen? Usually, the worst case scenario isn't as bad as we think. Ask yourself, if this turns out wrong, can I fix it? 99% of the time, the answer is yes. 4. Flip the script. See it as an experiment. Instead of thinking, what if I fail? Think, let's see what happens. Treat decisions as experiments rather than final judgments. 5. Remember, no decision is final. The idea that one choice will ruin your life is a myth. You can always course correct. The real danger? Staying stuck. At the end of the day, indecision is an illusion, just like addiction. It's not about the decision, it's about the fear behind it. And once you remove the fear, action becomes effortless. So, if you're feeling stuck, remember this. Any choice is better than no choice. Action creates clarity. Forward movement builds confidence. And life isn't about making perfect decisions, it's about making decisions and learning as you go. That's it for today's episode of the Methodcast. If this helped you, send it to someone who needs to hear it. And remember, just decide. You're not losing anything. You're gaining progress. If you're on this journey, know that you're not alone. And if this episode has resonated with you, share it with someone who might need to hear it. Together, we're breaking free from the lies of addiction and stepping into something so much better. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Until next time, celebrate your progress, stay curious, and remember, you've got this.